Hey folks, Jack here. Today we're building one of the most common UI animation elements, a donut progress chart and a percentage that animate together. The donut stroke fills as the percentage text updates, and everything is driven by a single control. I've used this on lots of my UI animations over the years. It often comes up and gives you some core techniques you can apply to many other types of animation, namely trim paths, animation controls, range mapping or synchronizing values, and string generators that drive text or number values. There are 6 main tools that we're going to be using in this tutorial. That's the value behavior or animation control, the value blend, the number range, a basic shape, a text shape, and a string generator. If you want to get this scene file and support my work, you can check out the link in the description. And if you want to get updates on my Cavalry work and education, check out cavalrycourse.com. So let's start with the thing that's going to be driving it all, the animation control. This is our master controller. Everything else is going to follow this piece of animation. It's just 2 keyframes. Now, the term animation control is kind of vague. It can cover a lot of things. In this context, though, we just need a value to start at 0 and go up to something else, like 75 or 100. And for everything else that we design, which is very simple in this case, we want everything else to follow that. Now, this is the heart of rigging animation. In Cavalry, After Effects, or anywhere else, you get a thing that doesn't actually render on the screen, like a value in Cavalry or a slider control in After Effects, and then link it to all the things that you want to animate. In Cavalry, you could use a few things for this. As usual, Cavalry is very good at giving you lots of options for things. But for me, value is the one I reach for. It's the most simple, the value behavior. But sometimes, in this instance, people also reach for the actual thing that's called animation control, thinking that that is what it's for, and you can use it. But animation control is actually designed for much more than just as a utility that drives other values. And I'll show you as a bonus at the end how it can help your rigging. But for now, I'll just choose the value behavior. So now that we've got this and we've added our 2 keyframes, we're going to add a basic shape and set its primitive type to an ellipse. We could also just hold Alt and click here. It's the same thing. I just like showing things in different ways sometimes. Now let's turn off the fill and turn on the stroke. We'll increase our width a little and turn on round caps and make sure that we've got the right size. Next, we're going to turn on trim for the stroke, and that gives us this start and end control. What we're going to be doing is animating the trim around clockwise, but we want the beginning of the donut chart to actually start at the bottom center. So I'm going to change the travel here to 50, which will mean that it now starts at the bottom. And now when I pull this down from 100% to 0%, we get the animation that we want. Right, let's add a quick value keyframe on our main driver. Now, let's connect our value so that it drives the trim start. We'll pull the output of the value to the start value, and you'll see the issue. We now have the opposite of what we want. In other words, when the value is at 0, the ellipse shape is fully on, and when the value is at 100, the ellipse shape is fully off. So we need some way of reversing this. Now, there is a really quick fix here using an expression. I'm going to right-click on the trim start property, click Add Expression, and input 100 minus value. Now, in case you're wondering what's going on here, mathematically this works because when the value is outputting 0, then the expression results in 100, because 100 minus 0 equals 100. And when the value outputs 100, it calculates 100 minus 100, which equals 0. So we're mapping 0 to 100 to 100 to 0, basically creating that inversion of the direction. Now, because I'm a nerdy teacher, I'm going to go on a tangent here because I love understanding things deeply and showing you how to build in different ways, because that's really how you understand things well. But if you're happy with this quick fix and you don't want to go in depth about other ways of doing this, skip over this next section. Now, Cavalry, in my mind, is all about driving values with other values. It's a motion tool built around this idea of rigging anything easily. But sometimes, often in fact, it's not enough to just drag one value to another value, because often the thing that you're trying to drive has a different kind of range or needs something slightly different. For example, if you have an animation of opacity going from 0 to 100% here, and you want this to drive a full rotation of 0 to 360 over there, then you need to do something with the values that you're driving with from your source. In other words, you need to do range mapping between these two things, because 0 to 100 is not 0 to 360. And in Cavalry, we can use number range for this. In this comp, I have two shapes, a rectangle shape and an ellipse. We have an animation on the ellipse going from 0 to 100% opacity, and we want to drive the rectangle shape's rotation with that value change. So let's add a number range. When we look here, the number range properties are divided really into two halves in my mind. There's the source minimum and maximum, and the target minimum and maximum, and then the actual value that you'll put into the number range to drive it and then sort of translate between those two ranges. So let's think about this. What's our source? Well, it's the ellipse shape's opacity, and it's going from 0 to 100. So let's change the source maximum to 100 because the minimum is already at 0. And now let's think about our target, which is the rectangle, and specifically the rectangle shape's rotation. We want to drive rotation from 0 to 360. And we already have a value of 0, so let's just add 360 in the maximum. And all we need to do now is drive the value of the number range with the opacity, which is already animated on the ellipse shape. So I'm going to click into the ellipse shape, drag the opacity over onto the number range, and then apply it to the value. If we go back to the number range, we can see that the value is going from 0 to 100, but what you can't see is that the current output of this value, of this number range, is now going from 0 to 360. It would be nice if Cavalry put this in the UI here, but it's quick enough to see the results. If I just click and drag the connection or the output from the number range now to the rectangle shape and select the rotation, we'll see it happening. Now we have the rotation that we want. The number range also has this nice little graph in which you often see it all around Cavalry. And if we open this, we can actually flip horizontally to invert what's happening so that we then get a different rotation. Okay, so now you get range mapping, changing the scale range. But sometimes you want to invert the direction within the same range, like our example here. If we aren't using this expression, how would we reverse the animation for our trim start value? Well, for this, we can use a value blend. And here's the key. Value blend interpolates between its first and second values based on the strength input. Normally you'd set the first value lower, like 0, and the second value higher, like 100. So as strength increases from 0 to 100, the output goes from 0 to 100. But to invert, we just flip this. We set the first value to 100 and the second value to 0. And now when strength goes from 0 to 100, the output will go from 100 to 0, basically inverted. So to see this, we'll connect the values output to the value blend's strength input. And now when we connect the value blend's output to the stroke material's trim start, I'll just drag this and actually replace the connection we had before. As the value goes from 0 to 100, the value blend inverts that to go from 100 to 0, which means the trim start goes from fully trimmed to fully visible, creating our progress animation. So that was a deep dive, but these two ideas are so fundamental to building good, efficient systems in Cavalry, and I wanted to explain them well so that you can master them and use them whenever you want. If you need to change the scale range, use number range, and if you need to invert the direction within the same range, use value blend. All right, back to it. Let's do a quick cleanup. I'm going to drag the value blend as a child of the ellipse shape. This doesn't do anything, it just keeps things more organized. And now we can just ignore that small little aspect of this rig that we're building. I'm going to add a text shape and just put in some text for now so that we can see it on screen. Now, we want this text to literally just be the output of the number value here. We don't need to do any range mapping or value blending for this. But you can't just drag the output of the value into the string property of a text shape. You have to have a string generator to drive first, which then drives the actual text that we see. And we can add that really easily here. I'll click on generator and select value. And now we have a string generator connected to the string property here. To stay tidy, I'm going to drag this string generator as a child of the text, and I'm going to drag the output of our value, which is our driving value, to the string generator. And when I let go, we can see 4 properties. I'll select value number. Now we can see that we've got the beginnings of our working animation. So clearly we need to get rid of some of these decimal places and the preceding zeros. So let's head into the string generator settings to see what we get. Precision refers to the number of decimal places. We don't want any decimal places, so I'll just put as 0. And padding refers to the number of preceding zeros before whatever the value is. Now, we don't need any here either, but weirdly, if you put 0, it then just defaults back to 1. I'm not actually sure why. Maybe someone can say in the comments. Now, all we need to do is add a percentage sign as the suffix, and we have our rig. All that's left is our styling. And once we're done with that, I'll just organize this nicely. And you can even group this into a folder and call it donut chart. And in case you didn't know, I try and remind people in every tutorial because it's amazing how many people don't know this, anything you build in Cavalry is JSON. So long as you're not referencing media or things like that, if you command copy this and paste it into a text editor, it pops out as JSON, and you can paste this back whenever you want, which means that all the rigging work that we've just done doesn't need to be done next time. You don't need to save this as a composition or a file that you have to reopen somewhere. You can literally keep it in a clipboard manager or in an easily accessible file somewhere. That is one of the many reasons I adore Cavalry. So, I promised an explanation of animation control, a brief one anyway. In this tutorial, we looked at a lot of remapping values, but what if you need to remap keyframes? What does that even mean? Animation control remaps an attribute's animation curve, in other words, the keyframes you've already created, to a percentage. Its amount value, which is 0 to 100, maps to where you are in that animation curve. 0 will equal the first keyframe and 100 equals the last keyframe. Let me delete this animation control now to illustrate this. So in this composition, I have this ellipse shape with a pretty boring animation. And if I add an animation control and then connect it to the X and Y positions of the ellipse shape, then play the composition, nothing happens. That's because the progress through these keyframes is now not being controlled by time, but controlled by this percentage slider. So if I move this percentage slider up to 100, we progress through, and if I pull it down, we progress back. And this is another potential deep part of rigging in Cavalry, because you may want to define a simple animation, I don't know, like a small piece of UI jumping or an icon animation, but you only want it to jump or to be controlled by another element. Let's say, I don't know, I'm not going to rig this up now, but like, let's say this ellipse shape was a little icon animation that you'd done, and then you wanted to nest that somewhere and not think about that particular animation anymore, like all those little detailed keyframes, but you wanted to trigger it and have control over its progress or tie its progress to something else like opacity. Just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to add a square here, and I'm going to animate opacity from 0 to 100. And then I'm going to grab the opacity from that and drive the actual animation control. And now when we go from 0 to 100 opacity on this layer, it drives the animation on the animation control, which then in turn drives the animation of the other layers' keyframes. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. I covered some of the most important things I use in rigging in Cavalry, especially when working on UI animation. And hopefully early next year, I'll be releasing a mini course on UI animation in Cavalry. And for those of you who've been waiting for this course I mentioned a while ago, I'm sorry I haven't done it yet. I've been pretty delayed. My work at Glide keeps me very busy. My kids keep me very busy. So it's been way longer than I was hoping for. But I'm starting more serious work on it now because I love this tool.